100%. All right, guys, welcome to the Football with Alansmith podcast right here. We have plenty to talk about this morning. This is the first ever, yes, episode of the Football with Alansmith podcast. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe because we have a lot to talk about this day. We have, yes, a very, very good and brilliant mind joining us today on the first ever episode of the Football with Alan Smith podcast. I have already Emmanuel joining us. Yes, Emmanuel is a top guy, top guy when it comes to football and everything sport related. And today he will be giving us some very good analysis when it comes to the world of football. Welcome once again. This is the Football with Alan Smith podcast. My name is Mohammed Abdul Hamid Alan Smith. Like I said, the team of great minds and top analysts will be joining us as we bring you all of the breakdown and analysis. The international breaker is over, and right here we'll be bringing you all of it, all of the breakdowns, all of the analysis as it happens. Well, we know with international break comes a lot of talking points, and today we'll be dissecting and yes, analyzing everything that you need to understand and need to know with some great man. Yes, Emmanuel, how you doing, my brother?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. It's always a pleasure, Alan Smith, and I'm happy to be here. It's a good thing you're doing this as well. So, what an opportunity it is to be on the very first podcast.
Sure, you're very much welcome. Your team seems to be doing very fine. The
Yeah, that's
international
like
break made you guys start acting as if as if you guys did not continue with the struggle. But the international break is over now.
yeah, the international break is over. I don't know if that
Ah,
is a good thing from the point of view of a United fan since the international break is over, because that brings
hmm.
us back to our history and the reality that we have at hand at the moment. But I mean, teams don't. I tell people that football is a reflection of life. You sometimes you have blips and bumps. One moment you're top of the league, you're winning 13 Premier League titles or 20 league titles, and then the next moment you are struggling to win games. That's how
Yeah.
life can be sometimes. So football itself is a reflection of life. And
Hmm.
one example to actually further elucidate that is the reality that Manchester United currently faces. But I think we'll get back up. What some of the joys of fanatism is seeing your team win, and I think the experience of winning is what every United fan has had. And I believe that in no time this team will be on the right track. I just hope that probably those in charge at the moment are the right people.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, no need to tell you guys the club Emmanuel supports. He already revealed himself already. He already revealed himself already. So yes, great to have you, man. Great to have you on the show. Great to have you on this first
Absolutely.
ever
Thank you
episode.
so much for saying here. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we're expecting two other guys. Nathan is supposed to join us as well. Nathan is also a very great guy when it comes to talking sport right there from the city of Kaduna. He's a brilliant man as well when it comes to talking sport. He's a Barcelona fan for what I know. I don't know whether he has decided to switch club over the last few years since Real Madrid have started dominating the Champions League and also the La Liga over the last few years. But we'll get to find out and hear from Nathan very soon. Dejma Abako as well. Another great man will be joining us very soon as I will bring you all of the updates. Yes, still let's start with Emmanuel since you're here. We get straight into the mix.
Yeah,
Emmanuel, are you there?
yeah, I'm here. I can hear you. Yeah, I'm here.
Uh-huh. So let's start with you. Let's start with you before the other guys join us. Let's start with you.
Okay.
Uh, I wanted to start with Chelsea, but as a United
Mm.
fan, you're already here with us already. So let's go with your club. Let's go with your club.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
last season, Last season, United had the worst ever campaign under Erik Ten Hag, finishing eighth on the log, but they still ended up being FA Cup champions, beating Manchester City in the finals. Before then, there were a lot of talk about the future of Erik Ten Hag. A lot of persons said the FA Cup final was going to be his last game in charge of managing Man United. But the new guys, the new hierarchy, the new footballing people, the INEOS guys came in and said they were going to wait till the final to see how it ends. United ended up winning the FA Cup final and immediately erased what seems to a lot of people will say the worst ever season in United history. But winning that FA
Mm.
Cup already made, I mean, I don't know, can I say papered all of the crack? also allowed Erik Ten Hag another year because the INEOS guys said they were actually looking out for another new manager. Spoke to few other candidates before decided to go ahead and stick with Erik Ten Hag. But that
Mm.
decision looks like it has backfired so far this season because even with the back end during the transfer window, nothing seems to have changed regarding how they were last season and what we are seeing. It's still early days yet. You might get it in the long run though, but they said you as a manager you are good. You are as good as your last result. Man
Yeah.
United still struggling from last season. They are currently 14th in October. Let's get your thoughts on that one.
Mm. All right. First off, I would like to back INEOS with the decision to keep Coach Erik Ten Hag. The reason is not far. When you look at the season in context, they had turbulence regarding injuries and all of those things, and you don't go to a final with reigning Premier League champions, treble winners as well in Manchester City, beat them by 2 goals to 1, had some level of dominance in that game, and then come off the back of that fixture and fire the manager. I think that was going to backfire. That was going to backfire, and it was going to strain their relationship with the fan base as well. Considering the fact that trophy wise and trophy ratio as well, I think Eric has done really, really well. Post Alex Ferguson, you could also see that he's one coach that's had fantastic win ratio too. But this season, it hasn't been the same. We've seen a reoccurrence of some of the challenges that United faced last season. And then it now leaves room for people to wonder whether Erik Ten Hag is the right man. And one of the reasons to wonder whether he's the right man is the fact that some of the players that he's brought into the club will actually not see their impact. Okay, so aside Martinez and maybe a handful of others, we've actually not seen his players deliver for the club. Look at the likes of Anthony. Look at the likes of even Manuel Ugarte. You could say that it is early, but these are some of his signings. You look at the guy from Chelsea, Mason Mount as well. These are some of his signings. You look at and it's the same problem happening over and over again, and it makes you wonder whether the team trains as well. So, in the light
Hmm.
of the events of last season, winning the
Yeah.
FA Cup, and when you put the season in context as well and everything, they made the right decision to keep him. But in the long run, is the decision to keep him the right one? I think from the events of this season, we're beginning to see that probably might be too too much of a risk. Because if the very players you brought into the club to change the trajectory of the club are the ones disappointing you and not turning up, you brought in two number nines, and both number nines have not managed to get you 5 goals cumulatively this
Yeah.
season so far. So that in itself is also not it's not helping you keep your job as well. And then when you also look at the defense, 2 seasons ago, Lisandro Martinez was heralded as one of his biggest signings.
Yeah.
But even that guy right now is letting him down. For anything, the players that Erik Ten Hag has brought to the club are the ones that are actually propelling his sack. So, and post Alex Ferguson, no coach has survived the third season. Ole didn't survive the third season. Jose Mourinho, in his capacity, didn't survive the third season. Louis Van Gaal didn't even get to the third season. I don't think so. In fact, he had almost the same script with Erik Ten Hag because he won the FA Cup and got fired a couple of hours later. And
Yeah.
his wife told him they fired him. And he
Yes.
was in a press conference and they fired him. So when you look at all of this, the biggest problem for Erik Ten Hag isn't the fact that the team is not doing well. He's those that have criticized him, and I've backed him for a very long time. Those that have criticized him, the criticism that always come from you want to save the club, but the very missionaries you're bringing in to save the club are not delivering for you. So if there is one thing that is actually going to make him lose his job, is the
Yeah.
fact that those he's brought in to help him deliver on the job are not delivering for him. Zexi doesn't look like a striker in the class of Manchester United.
Hmm.
What's the other boy? The other boy's name? Rasmus Højlund. Rasmus Højlund. Yes, there are potentials there, but then he needs to be an understudy to someone else, somebody who is a proven goal scorer or something. There are
Hmm.
potentials there, sure. And then
Yeah.
there are injury worries as well. The injury worries that are these players picking up the injuries from the training ground? because again, injury is beginning to plague the team. You look at the situation with Kobe Meno. No big team is supposed to rely on a 19-year-old player that is still growing, that is still evolving, that his game hasn't matured to the
Yeah.
height. No big team relies on a 19-year-old like that to deliver them. Because we are actually changing his progression right now, and we're not helping him grow. Same thing destroyed Michael Owen. England overplayed him. And I think we are working in that path as well as Manchester
Yeah.
United. When Messi was at Barca, they didn't rely on him to deliver them at that age,
Yeah, they still had the likes of
as a teenager.
Ronaldinho and co.
Exactly. So now he's trying to play safe. He didn't play Kobe in the game against Porto, and then he reserved him and played him in the game against I think Aston Villa, and then the boy his injury worsened from there. So some of his decisions have actually not been the right thing. In the
Hmm.
past, we said Erik Ten Hag looks like the man. He is young. He's not too old. Sorry. He's done well with young players
No,
at
that man is
Ajax.
not
He
young.
wants
Forget
to.
about for that man is not young. I think he's 63 or so. He's 63.
He's not all that. Let's say he's not that. He's not all that old.
Hmm.
He's done well with young players at Ajax. He's
Hmm.
gone to the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League, and his mistakes cost him that semi-final and the final, and a slot in the final of that Manchester of that year's Champions League. And
Hmm.
some of those mistakes that cost him the finals of the UEFA Champions League, we are seeing those mistakes at Manchester United at the moment. We're seeing those mistakes. You win games, you are winning games, and then you come back to lose all points. We saw it against Chelsea, we saw it against Brentford, we're seeing it
Hmm.
against teams. We hardly come back to win games. Once you score Man United, it's done and dusted. And I think you told me one time, I think I agree like that. United used to be the team that come back to win games. You are not the team that we are winning games and then they come back to beat us.
The
That
ones
has
now
changed.
throwing away leads and team are coming back to win.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. In as much as I like him, I think he's got something there. I think he can make things work out. I feel that
Yeah.
his decisions, his buys, the mistakes that keep happening, you have considered, if I'm correct, about 10 goals from cutbacks. He's not been able to lead that. If
Hmm.
mistakes are happening over and over again, and the same kind of mistakes, that doesn't help you as a coach. That doesn't help you as a coach. So these are the problems with Coach Erik Ten Hag. But again, United is in a very precarious situation. You are a big club. You are expected to perform, and
Hmm.
at the same time, you are expected to be in the process.
Hmm.
But process requires progress, and that has to be the biggest challenge uh, with uh,
Okay.
the what Erik Ten Hag is doing. I think there is some level of
All right. Seems
there is a
like we
process
lost
there, but
connection
there
with
is no
Emmanuel.
progress.
Nathan, are you with me?
I don't know if you can hear
You
me,
can you hear
Alan.
me?
Hello, Nathan. Okay, seems like we lost connection with the guys. I will join back shortly. Emmanuel will join us back shortly.
Hello?
He was talking about how Man United have struggled all through the last few months and the last few weeks, even though the hierarchy decided to keep Erik Ten Hag. Dema Baku, are you with me? Okay, we seem to have lost connection with him.
Yes, I'm here. I can hear
Okay,
you.
actually lost. Okay, Dema, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud. Yeah.
Dema, you're welcome to the Football with Alansmith podcast. We just lost connection with Emmanuel a few minutes ago. Hopefully he gets to join us. And we're talking about Erik Ten Hag, the Man United manager. We saw what happened last season. They had their worst ever campaign under this man, but they decided to stick with him. And the new season has started, and they are sitting 14th in October. Nothing seems to have changed. The international break, yes, the last international break, which was just a few weeks ago, a lot of persons said that was going to be his last ever chance as a United manager, and that the hierarchy will have a lot of time to make a decision. There are names that were mentioned, the likes
Right.
of Thomas Tuchel, Ruben Amorim of Sporting TP of Portugal. All of these names have been mentioned to take over the job of at Man United, to take over from Erik Ten Hag. But it looks like the hierarchy will continue to back him because we haven't gotten that official announcement, that communicado official, because the man is still there. Do you think they made the right decision sticking by this man and giving him another chance to rectify what has been so far a poor season for United?
Yeah, they don't have too many options, if we'll be honest. This is this is almost midway through the season. They don't have too many options. And I feel like right now, Manchester United just have to stick with Erik Ten Hag. It might not be working, but just like he said, just like Erik Ten Hag said, when it comes to trophies in the last 2-3 seasons, you might say they have been sharing the major trophies with Manchester City. You know, they won the FA Cup last season, and 2 seasons ago they won the Carabao Cup. So when you look at it, he's winning the trophies, but you know that consistency is the issue. They didn't qualify for the Champions League last season. This season they don't look like a top 4 team. You know, they continue to struggle. One thing every Manchester United fan will tell you is they don't have a playing style. Is it massive attack or massive defense? What is the playing style of Erik Ten Hag? That's the big question. The guys like Mikel Arteta might have not won major trophies, but he's been able to, you know, instill a pattern, instill a system at Arsenal. That's why he's not under pressure. And they look like a work in progress, qualifying for the Champions League, finishing back-to-back as runners-up. The problem is it's not the same for Erik Ten Hag. They are hot and cold. But right now, I don't think they have too many options in the market. You know, they would have gotten somebody during the summer, but let's not forget, you know, towards the end of last season, Manchester United won the FA Cup, and I think that bought Erik Ten Hag some time. That's the new season. They don't look like they are doing well, but, you know, he might just end up with the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. It's left for the board to decide if they want more than the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup as compensation after a poor season in Europe, a poor season generally in the league. So that's the question. I think the board must have looked at it and say, okay, let's stick with this guy. Let's see what he can add to probably the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup this season. So we'll see what happens. A lot of changes in terms of the hierarchy. We saw what they did with, you know, that's the legend of the club, legendary coach Sir Alex Ferguson, banning him and saw board members from entering the boardroom. Maybe they feel like that would change things. You know, Sir Jim Ratcliffe is is partly in charge. He has a say in terms of who goes in and who comes out. So I think they want to work with that from now till maybe January and see what holds for the club. Alan.
You are given the option of them not having enough options. But we just saw during the summer, even with the lack of options, the likes of Bayern Munich made some very big moves, bringing in a manager who just got relegated with Burnley, that is Vincent Company. Chelsea went with Enzo Maresca, a manager from the Championship. Don't you think this thing is about taking risks? Because United can still salvage their season. It's not November yet. It's not as if they are far from the top 4. Don't you think they made that mistake in terms of salvaging their season? Because there's still time. That's what I think. There's still time. Making that decision, you think is the right call to stick with Ten Hag?
Yeah, you're right. You're right when you say there is no time. You're absolutely right when you say there is no time. But let's look at the trajectory. Let's look at the timeline from when Sir Alex Ferguson left the club. He recommended David Moyes. You know, some Manchester United fans say he has so much influence in the club and they're happy with the fact that they stopped his ambassadorial deal of £2 million every year, you know, banning him from coming into the dressing room, having a say on 1 or 2 things at the club. He should just be a ceremonial figure. But let's look at the trajectory, guys. David Moyes was not bad when he came into Manchester United. He was doing well at Everton. You know, they were finishing among the top 5, top 6. They were a thorn in the flesh for Liverpool, Arsenal. I think they qualified for the Champions League. Yeah, they qualified for the Champions League. We saw the very best of Yobo. We saw the very best of Cahill and some other exciting players, you know, under David Moyes. But when it came to Manchester United, he struggled, almost took them on relegation. Then they move on to was it Louis van Gaal? Yeah, Louis van Gaal won the FA Cup, but he also struggled. Then Jose Mourinho came, finished second, won the Europa League. I think he won the Carabao Cup as well. But
he won the Carabao.
The club was not exactly qualified because the results at some point in the season stopped coming. Then they move on to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who could not really lift a trophy, but you know, there was some form of consistency qualifying for the Champions League, but then things started to dwindle. You know, I don't want to talk about the other guy, Ralf Rangnick. You know, it was just So, they have tried managers. They have actually explored options, but it's not working. Jose Mourinho is still top quality. Luis Van Gaal tomorrow is top quality. I think even Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's been approached by a few clubs in the lower half of the Premier League and in the Championship.
Job of the Danish national
Yeah, so
team.
he's still a good coach on his day. So Erik Ten Hag did very well in the Netherlands. So I think they just want to see what happens. They just want to stick with him, see what happens, because it's very easy. Manchester United fans do not like this. It's very easy to fail at Manchester United. It's very easy for top managers to fail at Manchester United because the expectation is very high. Manchester United fans, Manchester United board still feel like they're a very big club, they're a powerhouse, but the truth is they are not. With that kind of expectations and with the legends who are very, very vocal, likes of Gary Neville, and the other guys, Paul Scholes, who are very, very vocal, who talk every week on TV podcasts. So it's easy to fail at the club. So I understand why they want to stick with Erik Ten Hag for at least a few more months till January or probably the end of the season.
All right, Dayma. Thank you very much, man. You already told us that you're going to join us for at least 10 to 15 minutes. Thank you very much, man.
I'm still here. I think I have
all right.
I have like 7 minutes. Yeah.
Nathan, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm with you. Can you hear me now?
Nathan, are you with us?
Hear me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think his network is the issue. It's 11%. I can see from here. I think he might be having network issues.
Okay.
Yeah. Crazy, yeah.
All right then. All right. Okay, guys. Yes, still the Football with Alansmith podcast. Yes, we just had the view of Dayma Baku right there, sharing his view on Manchester United and Erik Ten Hag, and believing that he made the right call, even though earlier Emmanuel told us that they should have, finally just thank the man and wave goodbye to him. But it's what it is. He'll be preparing his team later this weekend for Brentford, another team that have really shown so far this season. And Brentford manager Thomas Frank have been asked several questions about the role at Man United. Would he be interested? But yesterday in his press conference, he said he felt sorry for Erik Ten Hag. Wait to see how it goes. Remember last season, it took 2 late goals from Scott McTominay to get the win over Brentford. Later this weekend, they face off against that same team again. The likes of Brandon Bremo and co are firing for Brentford. So let's move over to Chelsea. Chelsea right now seems to be the talk of the town. Just yesterday, we saw Cole Palmer winning the Player of the Month in the Premier League. Before then, Enzo Maresca as well, another manager that won the Premier League Manager of the Month. They have scored 16 goals and conceded 8 or so far this season. Only Manchester City have scored more. Tells you what Enzo Maresca is doing with that Chelsea team. I saw Chelsea in pre-season and I was not impressed one bit because of the nature of the teams were passing through them. But so far, so good. Enzo Maresca seems to have found that magic formula and he has them playing some very good stuff. They are scoring goals, they are winning matches. Cole Palmer is in the form of his life. I don't know what I can call that one form anymore because the guy has continued with the stuff last season. Now, a lot of persons are now saying, with the options they have on the bench, with them scoring goals for fun, why not? When we say Chelsea title contenders or not title contenders, are they genuinely title contenders? Though some of their fans have played this one down, saying that they are not ready yet, still early days yet, no need to put much pressure on the team. But as far as football is concerned, when you win, a lot of people will definitely talk about your team. So right now with Chelsea,
Yes, I can hear you loud.
All right. Chelsea Football Club right now, they are in the top 4. Only Manchester City have scored more goals than them so far this season. Everything they touch right now seems to be everything seems to be tempting for them. The struggle, a lot of persons thought they were going to struggle after Enzo Maresca was appointed. Seems like talk of the past. They genuinely title contenders. Do you see them actually competing for the Premier League title? It's still early days yet, but that's been the talk on social media.
It's still early days, but I don't think so. I don't think they are genuine title contenders. I'll give credit to Enzo Maresca. He's done a very good job with Chelsea. He's been able to do what I'll say Mauricio Pochettino did not do, because starting the season well is very, very important in a league like England. He's been able to do that. He's been able to achieve that, starting the league very well. But title contenders, I don't think so. I saw what they did against Manchester City. If you put them against Manchester City again, I think the same thing will happen. Can Chelsea get a result against Liverpool? We'll find out. It's just a couple of hours away. Can Chelsea get a result at the Emirates? I actually don't think so. I don't think so. They've been scoring a lot of goals against the likes of Wolverhampton Wanderers, Bournemouth and the rest of them. These teams, no offense to them.
If you only beat what's in front of you, if they are able to pull off results like this
Yeah,
against teams like Bournemouth
that's top four. Smith, that's top four form. That's top four. That's top four form. When you beat the lower teams, grand result against the top teams. That's top four form. When you're able to beat these lower teams, yes, we can say you have a good chance of finishing in the top four because you have to get the points at home and away from home from the lower teams. If you can draw, just squeeze the points against the top teams, then you have a good chance of finishing in the top four. But to win the league, to win the title, to be in contention, you have to do similar to what Arsenal did. Arsenal have been doing the last 2 seasons, getting the points from the big teams like Liverpool, who they have beaten back to back, at the Emirates Stadium.
It's usually the teams at the bottom that are picking up those results against them. Because last season against the top,
that's the irony. That's the irony. They are getting the points against the big teams, and just lack of concentration. I don't know. Against the sports team, imagine an Aston Villa getting 6 points from Arsenal last time around. 6 points would have been enough for Arsenal to win the league. But focus on Chelsea right now. I don't think they can be title contenders. Not right now. But top four, I think so.
Your prediction for them is the top four finishing?
Top four, top three, I think that's possible. But they still have to be consistent even to make it to the top four. They still haven't faced some of the big teams, and their first test they failed against Manchester City. They failed, and they failed well. So let's see what happens against Liverpool.
Right. Thank you very much, David. I don't know whether Nathan is with us or Emmanuel or any of the guys. Are they with us?
Can you hear me now? Nathan here.
Nathan, Emmanuel, are you any of you with us?
Nathan is here.
I think it's poor network. Yeah, I think it's poor network.
Yeah, network has been awful.
All right. As it is right now, seems like it's just me and you here. I will continue our discussions.
Yeah, I'll stick around. I'll stick around for a while till the other guys come in. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for doing so much. Thank you. Okay. From Chelsea, we move over to the talk of the calendar, the football calendar. Everyone seems to be complaining. Most players have now come out. We've had the likes of Harry Kane, the likes of Rodri, the likes of Dani Carvajal. All of these players have mentioned that the calendar seems to be packed and is affecting them. So far, so good. I have never seen in my 20 or 25 years of following this game, the number of ACL being picked up by players because of the number of games that have been played. Just a few days ago, Javier Tebas, the president of the La Liga, came out and said that the FIFA Club World Cup that will be held later next year in the United States should be scrapped, should be halted, and shouldn't go ahead. That the clubs don't want it, the federations don't want it, that the players themselves don't want this tournament. But FIFA has insisted that this tournament will go ahead. For now, there are no sponsors according to Javi Tebas. There are also no TV rights. No TV rights deal has been agreed for that same Club World Cup that will be coming up next year. And Javi Tebas is saying it's clear that most clubs, most federations don't want this particular tournament to happen. So people should halt that plan of going ahead and starting this particular tournament. It's a new format where we have about 32 teams participating from this new particular Club World Cup. Only yesterday as well, Kai-Hans Rummenigge, former CEO of Bayern Munich, have said that the players should stop moaning that whenever negotiation comes around, when the players want to negotiate contracts, them and their agents are always demanding for more. So it's only right that FIFA and the clubs come together to more football on the football calendar already. And it seems to be causing a lot of discussion and debate on out there on the football space right there on social media. The Club World Cup, Daima Abaku. Should FIFA listen to Javier Tebas or should they go ahead and host this tournament?
I think they have to listen. I think they have to listen. Yes, you might easily say
Can you hear me,
these
Daima?
guys get paid 300. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Daima, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you loud.
Connections with Daima Abaku right there. Well, if
Alan,
he's
can
able
you
to
hear
join
me?
us, he will definitely, yes, I'll hear
I can
from
hear
you.
you. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, yeah. So you're breaking up, but go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, I was talking about the need for FIFA, the need for UEFA to listen to the voices. You know, yes, these players get 300, 400,000 pounds a week. That's big money, no doubt about that. But they are stretched, they are overstretched. You know, it's a big disservice to Manchester City. I think it's a big disservice to the EPL as well as the European fan base that a player like Rodri will be missing throughout the season.
Yeah.
It's a big disservice. You know, we saw Saka pick up an injury. We saw Martin Odegaard also pick up an injury. We're seeing injuries to young players like Pedri. You know, even Lamine Yamal complained about an issue because that young man just from the long La Liga season where he played a lot of games, participated in every game for Spain in the Euros, participating in every game from the La Liga to the Spanish Super, the Spanish La Liga, you know, Champions League. They have the Copa del Rey. You know, it's too many games. You need to cut these guys some slack. They are pushing them to the limit, and I feel like it's going to tell on them. Yes, they are getting paid handsomely every week, but the thing is, when you stretch them and they have these long injuries, they are not going to serve. We're not going to see them on our screens. We're not going to see that quality that we want. You know, it's too many games. Look at the UEFA Nations League. What's the need for these 3 games that we saw? Play a few games and qualify for the Euros. That's what we know. Play some games. Play 3 teams home and away. You play 3 teams home and away. Top of your group, you qualify for the Euros. That's how it should be. Even the UEFA Champions League that we're talking about today. Look at the UEFA Champions League. We have more teams, more games. More games. I think additional 3 or 4 games to the already long season that we have. Look at the players in the EPL. They are going to be playing the Carabao Cup. They are going to be playing the English Premier League. They are going to be playing the FA Cup. They are going to be representing their various countries, qualifiers and all that. So it's a lot. It's a lot. No matter how much you pay these guys, you can't use them. They are not robots. You know, so I think FIFA needs to listen. UEFA needs to listen because these guys they are all human beings.
Yeah, fans will tell you that most of them don't care. They just want to enjoy more football on their TV screen. But like Neymar said, it's all about thinking about these players because City will be missing Rodri.
Think about their health.
Yeah, Danny Carvajal for Real Madrid, important player. He scored the winner in the Champions League last season. Tell you how important, how key these guys are to their respective teams. So it's only right that FIFA listen, but the problem is that will they actually listen? Because as it keeps going, players are coming out and they are speaking out about the calendar. So far, so good. About 4, 5, 6, 7 players have spoken about this number of games being played. But Neymar, thank you very, very much for being part of this one. We couldn't connect with the other guys, so we'll just put a break here. Thank you very, very much, man, for joining us right here on the Football with Alansmith podcast.
I enjoyed it. Thank you so much. It was nice.
Thank you very much, man. See you soon, man. Thank you.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first ever edition of the Football with Alansmith podcast. Remember, like, share, and subscribe because, yes, we're just getting started. We just heard from Emmanuel and also from Dave Mabaku breaking things down. We'll continue to get better. We'll continue to improve as we continue to bring you some very, very good analysis right here on the Football with Alansmith podcast. Guys, thank you very much.